Well, hello and a very good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us for Come Draw With Me with Riviera Travel. This morning, we're going to be transporting you to Japan, which is, in my opinion, one of the best places in the world. So, we're going to start off by talking to you a little bit about Japan, why we love it, and why it's a great place to go with Riviera Travel. And then we're going to hand over to Akemi Lucas, who's going to give us a calligraphy lesson, a real traditional Japanese art form, so that you can join in while you're watching as well. So, for the first part of the session, I'm going to be joined by Linda Harris. So, Linda is our senior specialist product manager here at Riviera Travel, and like me, a massive fan of Japan. So, Linda, do you just want to say hello and just to give us a little bit of an insight into when you've been traveling to Japan?
Yeah, of course. I love Japan. I've been lucky enough to visit three times. So the first time I went was when I was just 13 on a school exchange. But then I went in 2017. I traveled around all of the main highlights. And then I went again just last year, which is what this photo is here, where I went to visit the Japanese Alps as part of work, which, not a bad job to have. And I think one of the reasons I love Japan so much is it's so unique. There literally is nowhere else quite like it. And the people are so warm, friendly, and welcoming as well. So I don't know anyone who's been to Japan and regretted it. People absolutely love it there.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point. Is I don't know anyone either who's been to Japan and didn't immediately love it. I first went to Japan in 2010. I went on my own. I was completely clueless. I hadn't done enough research, but it didn't matter at all because the people there were so lovely, friendly, helpful. I had an absolutely amazing time, and I've been back more times than I can count. I was most recently there in December, just gone, in some lovely warm sunshine in the winter. There, it was a fantastic trip. So, yeah, hopefully we'll inspire you to love Japan as much as we do. So, we're just going to talk to you a little bit about some of the key aspects. So, I think the first question is why visit Japan? Well, I mean, if we've not already wet your whistle, I think for me, as well as the people that we've already talked about, it's just it's a real sensory overload in a good way. The sights are absolutely fantastic. You've got natural beauty, you've got hyper modern, and it's all in one place. It really is like nowhere else on earth. As well as the sights, the tastes, the food is absolutely amazing. Some of the best food in the world, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And just generally, every single one of your senses is tingling the whole time you're there. It's such a wonderful experience just being in Japan, seeing all the little quirky things that are different from back home. You just know you're somewhere a little bit special when you're there. Oh, I've gone one too far. So, what tours do Riviera offer in Japan? Linda.
So yeah, we've got four main tours that we offer. We have our Best of Japan tour, which is our best-selling tour. It's 13 days, covers all the main highlights. So it goes to Tokyo, Kyoto, Mount Fuji, and Hiroshima. And yeah, it's just a really great tour. And actually, what's nice about it as well is that when we're in Kyoto, which is one of my favorite places in Japan, we actually have a really good amount of time there. We've got 4 nights there. So we get to see all of the main highlights, but we also have a free day so people can choose what they want to do there as well. Because, like I said, there's so much on offer. And they can also stay in a ryokan there as well as an optional extra, which is like a traditional Japanese inn, which is a really amazing experience. And then we have our grand tour as well, which does the same kind of itinerary as the best of, but it has these 3 extra days at the end. So it's really great if you've got any customers who are able to afford that budget and have a bit more time. It's nice to see all the main highlights, but then also something a little bit more off the beaten track as well. So that's where I went last year on my recce. So the Japanese Alps area, almost very, very few UK tourists go there. The scenery is like similar to Canada or New Zealand, beautiful lakes, snow-capped mountains, and just, yeah, something really different. Especially we have this one day called the Kurobi Alpine Route where we go on so many different forms of transport to go basically up a mountain and back down again with this epic scenery. So we go on cable cars, ropeways, trams, buses. It's not like anything I've done anywhere else in the world. But then we do have some other trips because we recognize not everybody has the budget, for the longer trips, all the time off work, say. So we have an Icons of Japan tour, which is 10 days. So this one still does Tokyo and Kyoto and Mount Fuji. It just doesn't go to Hiroshima because of it being a bit shorter. But it does go to Kamakura, which is a charming coastal city. So it has that extra thing that none of our other tours do. And then, if anyone was on my session earlier about solo travel in Asia, I covered this one earlier, but we do the Icons of Japan for solo exclusive as well. So only for solo travelers. So it's exactly the same. It just has those USPs I mentioned earlier. So things like a meet and greet at all UK departure points, a welcome dinner and drink to help bond the group, and a smaller group size at 25 as well. So I kind of feel like we've got something for everyone in Japan. So we've got things from 10 days up to 16 days for solo specific or classic tours as well.
Great stuff. Thank you very much. So the next thing we want to talk about is when's the best time to visit Japan? So I think the first thing I'd say is now. Right now is a great time to visit Japan. There's a few things that make me say that. First of all, the exchange rate. Now, I think people have in their head that Japan's a really expensive destination, but at the moment you're getting close to 200 yen to the pound, which is probably as much as it's been in my lifetime. So it's really quite good value for money at the moment. So, for example, if you're out and about and want a bit of lunch and you want a huge bowl of ramen, it's probably going to cost you £5 tops. It's really really good value right now. In terms of the seasons throughout the year, there's a few distinct seasons and reasons to go during those times. Uh, I think the most famous thing is Sakura season, which is the cherry blossom season. So that runs March, April into May. Mostly during that sort of late March period is where it peaks. That's where you can see that cherry blossom on the screen in front of you. Huge swathes of trees just turn bright pink. I'm sure you've seen photos, and a lot of people, it's on their bucket list to go and see that firsthand. But another really good time to visit Japan is the autumn. Similarly, for the sort of the natural colours, the ginkgo trees go just almost luminous yellow, absolutely stunning. The maples turn a brilliant red. So all of the scenery side of things, and of course, there's so many parks in Japan that we visit, so you get to see all these things as well. So yeah, absolutely fantastic time to visit. And then the other thing that I would say is the winter period. So any time from sort of late November, December, January, February, early March, great time to visit because it tends to be less crowded, but the weather holds up really nicely. As I mentioned, I was there in December and I was wearing my shorts pretty much every single day. The temperatures in the high teens, so a really really pleasant time to visit. And as I say, it's just a little bit quieter. Also, you usually have the snow on top of Mount Fuji that time of year, so it will look a little bit like it does in that photo, which that's what you want, really, isn't it? Great photos to take. So moving on, I'm going to talk about a subject that's very, very, very close to my heart, which is food. So, as I've already touched on, I think the food in Japan is fantastic. I completely understand that some people might be a little bit apprehensive and go, "Oh, I don't like raw fish," or whatever it may be. Japan has got a huge range of cuisines, and there's a little bit of something for everyone. So whether we're talking about ramen, so a nice big hot bowl of broth with lovely tasting noodles and all sorts of other ingredients going in there. Sushi, which is, as you probably know, it's seasoned rice shaped into different shapes with different fillings, whether that be fish or vegetables or sometimes meats as well. So that's a great little picky bits lunch that you can have. Uh, my own personal favourite, though, is okonomiyaki, which is, I mean, to describe it as cabbage omelette makes it sound like it's not that special, but just trust me on this, it really is special. It's a common dish in Osaka and Hiroshima, but you can get it all over. But particularly when we're in Hiroshima on our Best of Japan tour, you can go and visit a place called Okonomura, which is a four-story building, like a food court, and it just has outlets specializing in different types of okonomiyaki. So I think every time I've been to Hiroshima, I've ended up eating there. Uh, Marie wrote in the chat, says, how hard is it to be a vegetarian in Japan? Well, I can answer that because I eat a plant-based diet, so even more restrictive than a vegetarian diet. And to be honest, I manage absolutely fine. There's so many websites that can help you find like plant-based food. But if it's just vegetarian food that you're after, it really is easy. The vast majority of places will have vegetarian options. Um, the grilled vegetables that they have, the ramens. There's all sorts of things. So you're never stuck for choice. And if you get really, really desperate, of course, there's plenty of Western style food there as well. So, if you do want a little bit of a break from Japanese food every day, it's very easy to get other things. I will say that it's probably not one for the guidebooks, but they've got convenience stores in Japan called konbinis. So 7-Eleven, Lawson, and Family Mart are the big three. Basically, if you walk for more than 1 minute without seeing one of these places, I think it's a bit unusual. But they have really great food in them as well. So the sandwiches are famous all over the world. So egg sandos from Lawson's have been rated one of the best in the world by, I think, Anthony Bourdain said that. So that's pretty high praise on that front. How can you eat a cabbage omelette if you're vegan? That's a very good question. So the batter that makes up the omelette is not actually egg. It's, I believe, grated snow potato, which has a sort of thick consistency like egg. Now, with any things that are vegan, you can make them vegan or you can make them meaty, depending on what ingredients you put in. But the default ingredients for okonomiyaki are basically cabbage and grated snow potato, and then you do whatever you want with the toppings thereafter. Most people do have them with their meat and eggs, though, but you can do as you wish. So that is the food. So moving on to the tips for visiting Japan. So I think the first thing that I would say is download Google Translate on your smartphone. Now, this is great for a number of reasons, but the best use of that is you can use the camera mode on it, take pictures of menus, signs, whatever it may be, and it will tell you exactly what you need to know. So it's absolutely fantastic. It's free. It's instant. So it's a great tip for in general, getting around Japan as a non-Japanese speaker is not a problem. But there's probably some times where you're just curious, you want to know something, or you're in a place that doesn't have English translation. Pop it on your smartphone, and you're good to go. Linda, have you got any top tips for when you visit Japan?
Yeah, this is a small one, but I think it's quite useful. When you're going into lots of different temples, for example, you have to take off your shoes. So it's easier if you're wearing like something like slip-off shoes, so you can kind of do that quite simply. And if you don't want to walk around the temple barefoot, it's maybe good to have some like little socks on as well. I found that's quite interesting because yeah, you do have to take your shoes off and on so many times sometimes in Japan. So yeah, that's one little one.
Great tip. And I think sort of linked in with that, just generally, it's worth just acclimatizing yourself with what the norms are in Japan with certain things. So keeping your voice down on public transport, for example, carrying your litter with you until you get back to wherever you're going, because there's not a huge number of bins there. So if you do a quick Google search for sort of Japanese etiquette, you can make sure that you're not going to upset anyone. But there's nothing in there that's onerous, but I think it's just a polite thing to do. So that's an extra little tip for you there. Sharon says that she's just back and she's missing it so much. I know exactly how you feel, Sharon. Doing this webinar today is probably going to result in me making another booking. I'll have to tell my bank manager about that later. So, a subject very close to your heart, Linda. Is Japan good for solo travellers?
Yes, I really do think it is. And with us, I mentioned our solo exclusive tour earlier, but we also have solo travelers that like to travel on our classic tours. We normally find about 2/3 of people like a solo exclusive, and 1/3 kind of prefer the fact that maybe on one of our classic tours there's more dates and they like a mixture of couples, friends, and other solos as well. So if you've got solo travelers, they can travel on either of those. And what I would say is obviously it's an escorted tour. So we've got our tour manager with you at all times. We've also got a local guide in Japan. So if anyone's a bit worried, they've got any questions, need any reassurance, they've always got that backup when they're there. But in general, even if you didn't have that, I just think the people are so friendly, they're so helpful, so welcoming, that it's actually a lot easier than you might think. When I went in 2017, that was completely on my own and, navigating my way around the whole country. And originally I was a little bit apprehensive about that, but it's so easy, like even I think actually I could get around Japan on the trains easier than I can get around the UK on the trains. For example, you don't just know what platform to stand at. They tell you exactly where to stand to get into your exact carriage, rather than the craziness you have in the UK, where everyone's like running back and forth and all the confusion. So yeah, I would just say you've got the backup of the tour manager and guide. The people are really friendly, and yeah, it's just a lot easier than you think. It can maybe seem daunting if you've never been that far away, but with all of the reassurance of the group, solo travelers will definitely have a great time.
I couldn't agree more. I've been as a solo traveller a few times, and it's probably the best place in the world to be a solo traveller. It's just very, very easy, as you say, for all those reasons. So that's the end of the section that Linda and I have got. We've just got a few moments. If anyone wants to put any questions into the chat, we can answer them. But I hope that we've at least wet your whistle for what Japan has to offer and what Riviera have to offer when it comes to Japan. As I say, I think it's an absolutely incredible destination. I think the tours that we do a really, really good job of telling the story of the different parts of Japan as well. And it's really, really popular for us for a really good reason, which is that people go, people love it, and they go back again. So, yeah. Just looking in the comments there, Philip says, is there an agent's price for solo tours? So all of our holidays are commissionable for travel agents. So that's no different if it's a solo traveler tour or a one of our standard tours. So, yeah. Is there an age limit for the Best of Japan tour, please? Sally, I don't know if you mean upper or lower. Generally speaking, our holidays are for adults. We do accept older children, but they would be very much the only ones on there in general, and absolutely no upper limit. If you're up for going up to the other side of the world with us, we're happy to take you. So Sharon says, be prepared for a lot of walking. Yeah, that's fair, but there is great public transport. I sort of choose to do a lot of walking when I go to Japan because it's just great walking around and seeing everything. But yeah, all of the public transport is very well covered across every city pretty much. So if you're willing to go on it, then great. It looks like I've got that all covered in the questions now. So now on to the main event, which is Akemi, who is going to give us a lesson in traditional Japanese calligraphy. So, Akemi, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Akemi Lucas. I used to live in the UK for just 23 years and then recently came back to Japan. I live in Yamaguchi next to Hiroshima, countryside. And then I've been doing calligraphy since I was 8, so quite long time. And then I do teach semi painting and calligraphy both. And I'm now in Yamaguchi running a residential course. So it's been great journey. So today I would like to introduce about the brief history of the calligraphy, and the calligraphy is a letter, so how the letter comes to Japan. And in Japan, we appreciate and respect the tradition. So we keep the tradition and then introduce to people. So here is okay. First of all, how the letter came in, started. So this is called Oracle-born script, which is like in dynasty in China, 1600 BC starting. If I just give the example, this is like a bright dragon. So the Oracle-born script looks like this. And then they were carving on the turtle shell or animal's shoulder blades, carving the letter, and then put the fire from the back, and then see the crack, how the crack shows. So they were using this for the rituals to describe the divine will. So that time was the letter was connected to the human, to God, and then using for the rituals. So very important time. And then after that, the letter changes slightly more. So from this style, changed to this one. It's called bronze script. So the letter form slightly changed. And then at that time, they were carving on the bronzeware, and they used this letter was for the ritual to, again, connect to the god. So the letter was very important as well. Then after that, if you ever seen the seal, the still we use for the seal for the artwork, or in Japan, important documents, we use a seal instead of the signature. And then this seal style starting around the 1042 BC. And then this seal style was more stylized and then a straight line. So that's why easy to carve on the stone or bamboo or all sorts of things, the gold. So it's a beautiful style. So after that, it's become Laicial script, which is a clerical script. So the official documents were used this style to write quicker, so slightly better, easier to write. So after that, there are three styles which now you can recognize kaisho, regular style, when you look at the sign or newspaper and book, or like almost everything was written in regular style. And a little bit of semi-running, semi-cursive style, or running style is almost difficult to even read for Japanese people. But this style came around the 8 AD. And after that, all the letter came to Japan at the Heian period with the Buddhism teaching. And then after that, after that in Heian period, they started to, from the Chinese letter, we started to create the hiragana, katakana. Because in Japan, we believe every single nature, everything has got the spirit. And then we carried on the way we were talking. So to apply for what we were talking, to use the Chinese sounds was difficult. So we created from Chinese letter simple symbol, like a 46 now letter, like alphabet. So, and then katakana form, that time was a Buddhist monk was using as a simple symbol to read the Buddhist, the sutra. So that's nowadays, katakana is used for non-Japanese word. So you might see a lot of katakana style in Japan, and then hiragana, and then we use kanji. So we use Chinese kanji, Chinese letter, and hiragana and katakana form. So so that's we started. So for calligraphy, we learn as a calligrapher, we learn every single styles. But in Japan, we do Chinese letter, also hiragana to combine the writing the poem, waka, things like this. So today, I would like to introduce these three styles, and then regular style, semi-running, and running style. So if you want to learn calligraphy, you learn from regular style, then semi-running, running style. If you learn the language, you learn hiragana sounds because you need the alphabet, the sound. So you're going to start to learn from hiragana. But for calligraphy, regular style to start with. So I'm going to show you how to do basic strokes in regular style, and then show you the different style using the letter forever. And then later, I'm just going to do one word to demonstrate for you. Okay. So for calligraphy, if you want to learn calligraphy, you need a brush and then an ink, paper, and then a little bit cloth like this, and then maybe paperweight. So And then for calligraphy and semi painting, both the mindset is important. So always set your mind and then focus. So, and then a posture is also important. So straight up and then bring the energy down into your tanden. It's a core, the center of the energy center. So starting with, I'm going to show you the basic brush movement. So the first, when I teach, I explain about the clock because easier everyone to understand, especially online. So when you hold the brush with a right arm, you elbow is up and then a shoulder relax like this, and then hold the brush lightly, nothing, tight like this. And then if you just bring your brush this way, your brush point at 11 o'clock, if you imagine the clock, yes, 11 o'clock. So basically your brush is coming down from the 11 o'clock. I'll show you. So the first one is a 10 dot. So tip of the brush point, 11 o'clock, press down. Now dragging down and tiptoe, and then use your wrist and then a flick. So that's the 10. So after that, horizontal line, yokokaku. So 11 o'clock again, yes, the tip of the brush point, 11 o'clock. Now tilt 10 o'clock. That time your arm up and then push your energy into it. Then just a little bit lift, hair gathered together, and then nicely finish. Beginning and then ending, very important. And then in between, show the energy flow. Okay, this is a horizontal line, yokokaku. And then now this is a vertical line, so 11. Now tilt the brush to 12 o'clock. Now pushing down and lift again and nicely finish. So that's important again, like this. So that's the tatekaku. So now flick, it's called hane. So the same thing, 11 o'clock and then at 12 o'clock, going down and lift, and then nicely tilt the brush to flick. Then tip of the brush, 11 o'clock, this is called migi harai. So 11, now 12, 1, swing the brush like this. Yes. And then one more thing so I'm going to introduce. So this is called hidari harai, left. Now migi harai is going to the right. So from here, 11 o'clock, but pressing down as you go, increase the pressure, stop once, side and tilt to 10 o'clock and push the energy flow to go. So these are the basic strokes, what you need to start with to master it. Once you master it, you can create the artwork. So now let's move on to the letter. So let me introduce to write forever, which is A. So we call it, after you master the basic strokes, to write forever is the best way to start with, because all the basic strokes are inside of one letter. So this is regular style, kaisho style to show you. So first, this here, flick, yes. Then horizontal line, go up. Now corner. So now the vertical line here, and then flick. Then you go another horizontal line, and then a corner. Now hidari harai is coming, swing like this. And then a shorter one to go here. And the last one to balance it. And then a migi harai is going, and then a stronger brush movement and swing like this. So this is forever in regular style. kaisho style. So now I would like to introduce, if I write the same letter in semi-running, how it look like. So for semi-running is more brush, tip of the brush control, and then almost, the dancing. So that's a pressure control more. So, and then a rhythm is involved. The same letter, but here, going like this. And then a more quicker. Like this. So, and then a softer and quicker. Okay. But now when it comes to running style, this form changed so much. Let me show you the running style. So the same letter forever, now almost like dancing. So every single turning, your tip of the brush tiptoe, standing and the turn. So so just to make sure here. Like this. That forever, the style changes so much, and then the rhythm and then the speed going to be involved. So that these three letter, change so much. But it's once you learn this style, it's great fun. Okay. So now at the last, I would like to introduce this, just demonstrate the letter. So this letter, I thought it would be good to introduce to you is Gahojin. So this letter is the Buddhist monk, Japanese Buddhist monk, Dogen, went to China and then study Buddhism and then brought back to Japan. And then it's a very important Zen Sotoshu's word. And then a Gahojin is life is very important. Whom you meet, what you meet, every time you travel or meet people, cherish the encounter, and then everything is start from there. So that's a very important word, and then one of my favorite words. So I thought maybe nice to show you how to do it in semi-running style. All right. So let me show you. So Gahojin is a 3-word. Okay. So let me go. And then in calligraphy, at the end, we put the seal as the ownership, and then also the showing the ownership, and then also part of the artwork. So this seal is I explained about the seal script. So like 3,000 years history, and then still same. We use the seal script, and then this is carved on the stone, and then this is called Inde, and then put this here like this, and then so put that on the mattress. And then this red color is also, part of the artwork, and then finalizing the piece. So just to place your seal like this, then finalize it. Okay. So this is the called Gahojin, and I'd like you to also cherish the encounter in your life. Enjoy your journey of life. So thank you so much for seeing my demonstration and talk. Thank you.
Gosh, who else is feeling incredibly relaxed after that? It's more like a meditation, wasn't it? I did try myself with a pen, but I think I'm going to have to rewatch and try with the proper brush after that. I can see you've all been loving it in the chat as well, which is fantastic. So I'm just popping on to wrap up day 2 of TTG Riviera Fest. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and huge thank you to Akemi and the Riviera team for sharing their insights today, and of course for the calligraphy class from Akemi. So, just final few notes from me. If you haven't already answered the questions in the polls tab, please do that today. There'll be more tomorrow for your chance to win a place on that Riviera fam trip to Morocco. So don't miss out on that. If you haven't checked out the Riviera partner room in the virtual lobby, please do go and check that out. There's lots of resources in there available to download, additional info for you there. And apart from that, thank you again, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 AM for a focus on the Americas. Have great days, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.